Wow.
Should we talk about money, 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 money?
Why? Why?
Kaela hates talking about money.
I don't. I talk about money all the time.
Just not business accounts.
I just like that you turned into a valley girl and you're like, why?
I am like the farthest.
Why?
I am like the farthest thing from a valley girl.
I am not a valley girl. Here in your valley voice, why don't you like say where to follow us?
Like, you should check us out on YouTube at Hi, My Name is Mom on our YouTube channel. Then you can go to our Instagram, and I think it's like something like Hi, My Name is Mom Official, like on Instagram. And then like it's probably the same on Facebook or like whatever you watch or look at. But if you want to follow us, you can. If not, you can just stalk us and creep us because our page is public. So you don't technically have to follow us, but okay, whatever.
That was my favorite. I feel like you should do a tiny Britney Spears impression right now.
Oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know that something wasn't right here? I can't
Actually, with you having a
so
little bit of
good.
laryngitis still, it's even better.
The girl song, what's that song? I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. All I need is time.
I didn't
so
know we were
good.
getting like a free concert tonight.
I'm not a girl, I'm not a girl, don't tell me what to do now.
We can't stop her now.
I'm dead. That was amazing. Oh my
Okay, I gotta
God.
stop.
That's fun.
So awesome.
This is Hi, My Name is Mom, a podcast about motherhood. Here are your hosts, Jen, Corri, and Kaela.
Oh, wow.
Who handled money in your households when you were kids?
When I was growing up, my mom handled...
Jen, act like you've been here before. Act like you've been here before.
For anyone listening, Jen, who is the one who is so meticulous about setting everything up, just had the mic completely pointed
10 feet away from me in the wrong direction. Ugh.
It's fine. We'll get it together.
I
I was so
have been here.
distracted by the Britney concert.
It was so good.
No, so who handled finances?
My mom handled all the finances in our house. She was a stay-at-home mom. She always had like a side hustle or something going on before side hustles were side hustles,
Yeah.
right? And my dad made all the money. So that was the way they split it.
And so she budgeted. She decided what was getting spent
She
where.
budgeted. She did co-ops. She clipped coupons, and they had hard years with 3 and 4 kids at the time. And so I got to hand it to her, especially seeing it now. Of course, we're in a totally different type of environment now, but man, yeah, they would have babysitting co-ops in their neighborhood and cheese co-ops where, they didn't have Costco, I don't think back then, right? So they would buy these big,
what's a cheese?
they would
co-op?
buy these massive wheels of cheddar and stuff from local dairies.
This is like sharing
in
a cow,
Atlanta.
but you're sharing the cheese.
Exactly, like sharing a cow. Yeah,
A cheese co-op.
yeah, it's like people who share cows.
So like if you gave each of us a third of a cheese ball, we would
How much are we spending on cheese here?
We actually are spending a lot on cheese right now.
You're in a cheese phase?
I'm in a cheese phase.
A heavy cheese phase?
Yep, I'm in a cheese phase.
Did this turn into an episode about cheese?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Kaela, what about you?
I feel like I'm the same as you. My dad worked at a grocery store, and he still does, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. But she always had side little things that she would do. She sold Mary Kay.
yeah.
And I will say that our generation of moms that did the direct marketing sales, like Mary Kay,
Avon, Tupperware.
it was such a different game than it is. It was just a completely different ball game.
Do you remember how people had zones?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't have 15 people in one little
so
quarter mile.
my mom sold Mary Kay, and she actually won like the grand,
Did she have a
it
pink
Grand
car?
Dam? She didn't have a pink car, but she won a red Grand Dam. Is it Grand Prix or
Oh.
Grand Dam? Grand Dam was a car, right?
Yeah.
Both are cars, aren't they?
Yeah.
No, Grand Prix is a race, right?
No, Grand Prix
Grand Prix might also be a car.
Yeah.
But the Grand Am, I remember that.
Yeah, the red Grand Dam. She
Wow.
won that. But I remember, I don't think my dad ever knew how much money was in our checking account. I still
Yeah.
don't think he does.
My dad still doesn't have a check card.
Yeah.
No debit card.
My mom yells at my dad. She's like, he spends the debit card as if it's a credit card, not realizing it.
Did your
It has it
parents?
in.
Did either of your parents ever fight about money?
No.
I don't ever remember my parents
It was
fighting
just a
about money.
very clear who does what.
Mhm.
That's like, yeah, I don't feel like I grew up with that. And that's kind of a non-negotiable fight in our home is that we won't
Yeah.
fight about money. Like that
Yeah.
is, That is
What
My
about
family
y'all? Who
was
did
the
yours?
the opposite.
Really?
So your mom
Where
worked?
my mom is a lot younger than my dad. There's like an 11-year difference between them. And so she was still a teenager when they met.
Yeah.
And she had me when she was 20. And she did the same thing where she always worked in some capacity. She did have years where she was completely stay at home, but she was always doing something, working for the theater company or, again, our moms were great about, all three of our moms, I feel like set that example for us that like, you can still do your thing. And, and I think that my parents will just laugh when I say this. Like neither one of them were ever great with money while I was growing up. But my dad was so much older than my mom that he just kind of handled everything.
Yeah.
But my dad wasn't amazing with money. It's one of those things where my dad always instilled in my sister and I, like, be good with money. Like your mother and I weren't, But my mom, I think, sometimes felt left out of it as she got older. They just fell into their roles when she was still really young. And so they would argue about money because my mom didn't always know how much money there was or where it was going. My dad was a musician and a creative. And so he never knew where the next paycheck was coming from at times in our life. And then he did have more salaried jobs at times, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
But my parents were not great at budgeting because it's almost impossible to budget in a creative career.
It's
It's very
impossible.
difficult, especially when you have kids. But the credit I do have to give to my parents is that I never wanted for anything. And I don't mean that there weren't things that I needed, but I never felt it.
I felt the same way.
So even when my parents would have disagreements about things, and my dad is also a bleeding heart. Like he would give anyone the shirt off of his back. And so they would have those arguments of like, well, that's so nice that you did that, but also we need groceries for the family. You know? So that did create tension when I was growing up, which meant that my sister and I are both like this. We are both so hardcore. I will support myself. I'm going to always have enough money to do the things I need to do because the security of it's not about the money. It's about the security that financial stability can give you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that means that now I probably approach things differently because of the way I was raised.
You hit the nail on the head for us, at least with entertainment careers, because with both Adrian and I being in entertainment, I mean, there's some years that we have 45 1099s, and then there's some year where it's like salary and a couple of those. It's so difficult. But is there anything looking back on the last, 25 years, right, of your life that you would have done differently that was financially motivated?
Probably not, because I would have years where I would make, where I was easily making 6 figures, and then I would have years where there were only 4 digits in the number that I made all year. Because maybe there was a move or there was a big job one year and not the next year. I was on a series one year, not the next year. And it's so there was such a disparity that I'm actually really proud of the way I approached money, because I feel like my only goal was to have my career be in entertainment. It was never like I need to get this level of stardom or anything like that. It was always just like I want to feel like I can support myself in this career.
Yeah.
And I was able to do that and go into getting married with having enough savings to be like, cool, I'm helping with the down payment on the house and I have no debt and I am still contributing to our household even now that I'm having a baby and I'm not working.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing when you are partnering with someone and then you go, well, here's how I've handled money and how I've made it work my whole life, especially if you get married a little bit later and you've both had careers. And then you go, well, what about the other person? How much debt? How much? I remember my, if I'm remembering this correctly, I remember my sister being like, oh my gosh, I'm scared to tell Andrew. I feel like I have this secret from him. I have debt. And I was like, oh my gosh, like really? And it was like $1,500 or something.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, babe, you're fine. You're so fine. But my sister is better with money than I am. She is very diligent about budgeting. And I think she just didn't want to be any kind of burden in that relationship. And I get it. Like, what if you have, some people have crazy student loans.
Oh, I had crazy student loans.
Really?
Yeah. 50, 60,000 that turned in over $200,000. But I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, that would be the one thing, if I could go back and do anything differently, I would have been independent of my parents at 18.
Yeah.
And I would have probably tried to get a first-time home buyer loan and bought a house in Tallahassee and then rented the rooms out to, my friends.
Oh yeah, I guess if I could go back in time and be like
those
smart
kind of
like
things.
that,
Yeah,
I
that's
would.
what I mean. Like,
I will
it was
probably do that for my kids. I will
probably
buy them,
the best thing you could ever do.
I will buy them real estate
Yeah.
and say if they're whatever city they're going into, they will get real estate.
Yeah.
And that will
That's really
they'll
smart.
rent out the rooms.
It is one of those things that I worked for a developer all through college, like when I was at Florida State, and he was incredible. He would buy up old, dilapidated apartment buildings and completely gut them and turn them into student housing. And he's just, I mean, he has built a literal empire up and down both coasts of Florida. And I see that and I'm like, wow, and my parents had never had, obviously, I was the first kid to go to college and there weren't any kids in either side of our family that really did the college thing. And so you didn't have anybody to watch doing it either.
There was no example to
and to be quite frank, to your point, it's like they needed me as a dependent, you know?
Yeah.
And those were things that I think maybe looking back would be like, maybe not. My parents, I know if I asked, they did fight about money. But to their credit, we never heard that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
So they had 4 kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, also inflation. I mean, money went further. Back when we were kids.
When we were growing up, I remember my mom telling me this just a few years ago that like most of my childhood, my dad made like $27,000 raising a family of 5.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It is.
But we never went without.
Right.
We always had like a glass of milk at dinner, which I know that sounds really
It is
silly,
a luxury though
but
in a big family.
That's a luxury. And I just remember we always had family dinners. We always had breakfast. There was always food in the fridge. And we made it. My mom gardened, and so that helped a lot. My parents were beekeepers, and we would sell honey bears for lunch money.
That is so cute.
I love that so much.
If they fought about money, we never knew about it, but I don't think even people in my hometown know that we have this community garage sale. It was called the Senior Citizens Garage Sale. And all of my clothes growing up came from that garage sale.
Yeah.
And we would go there on bag days and you could get a whole paper bag full of clothes for like 50 cents. And if you went through it, you could find some really nice stuff. And I never, ever had a problem with that or like had an issue with that.
Yeah.
I do know that once I got to high school and it used to be exciting to see what you could get in your bag. When we got to high school.
Was it like a mystery bag? You didn't get to see it until
you could go and pick out
look in there.
and everything was organized and like you could go and shop there and it's really well organized and set up and they had shoes and like all of my tennis shoes came from there.
That's cool.
But like I mean it's a lot of affluent families just their kids grow out of it, whatever. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I do that now when I'm done with clothes. I have no problem passing on clothes. No problem at all. And I don't take that lightly just because we had to sell our stuff in garage sales because we needed every single penny coming back. And then we also bought from garage sales. But you guys are going to love this. I used to flip stuff that I would get in the bags.
That's not surprising.
Like,
that's awesome.
She'd like flip
you sell
that one piece for 50 cents.
Yeah.
I can see that.
You've always been an entrepreneur. That's so cool.
I love it. I love that though. My parents didn't buy us clothes at like yard sales, garage sales often, but I buy 90% of my kids' things secondhand.
Yeah.
I love nice brands and I love to buy my kids nice brands, but I think between me and Ava, we have 15 pairs of Uggs and 13 of them are secondhand. Like $5 at a yard sale, $10 at a consignment sale. It's literally the way I shop.
I would rather have discount designer or secondhand good quality than and I have no problem saying this, then go to Walmart and literally spend the exact same amount. I tell people this all the time because I shop Saks off 5th all the time. I love Posh Peanut. But you can literally find Posh Peanut for $8 on there. Yeah. And people will make comments like, oh, I can't afford it. I'm like, you can. If you can afford to go to Walmart and buy a $12 outfit because it's not that much cheaper.
No.
And
like Target is
Target's expensive.
Target be like $30 for a pair of kids jeans.
I think Target is expensive.
Anymore.
Like I'm probably gonna get hated for saying I don't love Target.
Yeah. Now you can get shorts, like solid shorts and solid shirts for like $8, $10, which is great.
But you can get that
still
at
I can get
Nordstrom
those
Rack.
at consignment for cheaper.
Nordstrom Rack, Saks off 5th.
Yeah.
They used to have a Neiman Marcus last call. Like you can find all of those things discount designer is the way to go versus low quality full price.
Yeah, no, I agree. And mine, like,
I'm very
I've
passionate
had to
about this.
save mine for 4 kids. And even
Right.
some of the, like, unisex stuff, all 4 of my kids have worn, as they were little, like toddlers and infants. And now it's even hard to sell some of my stuff because it is so heavily used.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
us
it's
too.
been
We have
yeah.
stuff for my boys that got passed down from my nephew to Radley to Bash.
Yeah.
And like, there's just knees missing from all the pants.
Yeah.
But we're like, you know what? Pajamas and stuff like that. Who cares if there's holes in
Yeah.
the feet? But for myself, I almost have the opposite thing where like you have more stuff that you get on amazing sales. I have less stuff. I did that for so much of my life where I wouldn't buy anything unless it was on sale.
Yeah.
And I remember being a kid and being like, I didn't have designer anything, but I remember being like, I kind of like mine better. Like, we shot, what was it called? Richway? Do you guys remember Richway?
Yeah.
It was kind of like Target, and I
ago.
love Target.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of stuff on sale at Target too,
Me
and we have the
too.
Target Red
Yeah.
card,
The
and I
clearance.
love it because it's like cute. Like it all looks like
Yeah.
designer kids' clothes. It's so cute. But when I moved out on my own, I almost had this weird habit of buying stuff because it was on sale.
Yep,
So
you
if I
can do
found
that.
some crazy clearance, it wasn't because it went together as an outfit or because
It's like you needed it.
You
'cause
need
Yeah,
you
and
needed
I
so
had
quantity.
to deprogram myself
Yeah.
from that. I just started not doing that.
Yeah.
But I had to deprogram myself.
Yeah, buying it just because it's on clearance
Oh, it's
versus because
$4, I
it's
need
something
to
that
get
you
it.
love and it's on clearance.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I now have way less stuff,
Yeah.
but I wear it all. So it's like I had a storage unit in LA after I moved in with Ty that I was paying so much for to have all this stuff that I didn't even know was
Never
in there.
used.
And I remember him being like, Corri, if there's something in there that you pass along and you donate and you desperately need, we live in New York City. We can find something comparable. He helped me to not be so precious about every single item. Because you know how it is when you buy stuff
Yeah.
on crazy cheap sales, then you're like, but it still has a tag on it. And you bought it because it was on sale, not because
Yep.
you liked it.
It's
and not
true.
because it went with anything you own. And so he was really good. And he's very smart with money. And I trust him. And, that has been helpful for me to break the cycle of needing to buy so much stuff that's on
Yeah.
sale.
Mhm.
And now I'm like, I don't
You
shop
should give it to
that
Kaela and
often.
Kaela can flip it.
Yeah, there we go.
I will flip
But I
it.
have way less stuff than I used to. But I will buy the pair of jeans that fit me amazing,
Yep.
that I know I can wear over and over and over, that
Yeah.
aren't going to get overly stretched out when I'm playing with the kids, that I just feel like can be my staples. And I'm like, I need 2 pairs of jeans I love this season, not 15.
Mhm. I'm with
I
you. I
think
don't see that anymore.
staples is like such a word that I've been striving for is
Yeah.
I just need staple pieces in my closet
Mhm.
and then a little like fluff pieces.
Yep.
And that's it. But for me, the hardest thing is letting go of, it's gonna sound so silly, like shirts that I've loved from like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
but they're not in style anymore, but I can't get rid of them.
But they might come back in style, and
They might
that's
get back-
the
but-
OCD part of me is so
Yeah.
worried about that.
Yeah.
all of like my college cheerleading shirts, my high school cheerleading shirts, and all of that kind of stuff, I just got into a tote, and then I got a tote for Jonathan. He won't listen to this episode because he doesn't listen, so I can say this. But for Christmas next year, I'm giving myself till Christmas, I'm making us blankets.
Quilts, yeah.
Yeah, that has like, because I'm like, I need
All
to
your
cut up.
concert tees, all the old stuff that you would never wear again.
I'm not ready to touch concert tees yet. Okay,
I have some from
these
like
are-
Debbie Gibson.
These are just
Well, they're almost
They're awesome.
autobiographical.
these are just our sports
is.
shirts.
Oh,
And
wow.
I haven't even been able to touch. Well, I mean, I was highly competitive in sports. Jonathan was a D1
Oh, yeah.
baseball player, and so I even took like some of his old shorts, and I'm like, because
The little logo or whatever's on
Yeah,
the front.
we
My mom
have
did that with
to.
my theater shirts.
I
The
have
front
so
was the
many-
theater shirt, the back was all the signatures,
I don't
and I
know
have a
anything,
great
guys.
quilt.
Nothing.
what happened to it?
Well, I moved a bunch of times in
Mm-hmm.
my life, and when my parents separated, the basement full of stuff, costumes from when I was a little kid, and they just had a huge yard sale.
Oh,
And so it almost would have been harder if I'd been there because I
Yeah.
would have been like, what do I do with this stuff?
Yeah.
you don't have a single shirt.
I don't think so. I have pictures in those shirts.
Yeah.
And that's how Ty's always like, take a picture of it.
So
But how do you,
he's
when you
smart
guys
about
got
that.
together with your partners and you were already working, like, how did that dynamic work?
Okay. I'll answer. We just put it all together.
You just
We
did
put it
joint?
all
Fully
together.
joint?
Now, I was married before, right?
Right.
So I kind of had this little, it was like an exercise. And I totally do not believe in separate checking accounts. I just don't. I feel like when you, and I can't remember if either of you do that. So it's not, I don't mean to insult you, but it's just like for me, I don't know how you can have a family structure and keep
Well, then how do you
score
have a
and keep
credit card
tabs.
that's hidden that you put stuff
So
on that
there's
you don't? Isn't it the same principle?
No, it's only for his birthday and there's no balance. Like I only use that for this $100 or this whatever, where I don't want him to see like Filson.com or Tacovas.com. Like I don't want him to see that. But everything we have ever done is one checking account. Now to get a little more
Was
complex,
that immediate?
Immediate.
Was that
always.
when you got married that
was-
you did that, or when
yeah.
you were engaged?
No,
or
it was
what
when
point?
it was like right after we got married. We always, I mean, we lived together. So from the point where we moved in together, which was maybe a year before we got married, I don't know that we merged our checking accounts at that point, but we definitely we were like 50-50 on everything, like bills and whatnot, until we got married. And then we had a joint checking account that we opened at Wells Fargo. And like you said, with the entertainment industry, it's a whole other thing when you get into like investments and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Because
Yeah.
I think we have like 3 or 4 different checking accounts, and then the kids each have their own checking account. So it winds up being a lot, but all of our money goes into one account and then it's dispersed, but it's not dispersed into his money and my money. It's dispersed in other places.
And I think you have to do whatever works
Yeah.
for you. Like I
What did you guys do?
totally disagree with that, but that's just where that's just how I am. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not that I don't believe in joint
Yeah.
checking accounts. We have joint too.
Yeah.
But it took us a really long time to have that joint
Like
checking
after
account.
you were married?
Yeah. So I moved in with Ty and I was pregnant and we were building our family together. He had his apartment that he was already paying for. And when I moved out to New York, I started contributing to our rent and I brought my car out there. I was still paying for all of my day-to-day whatever. And it was really hard for me to even be like, I think we talked about this way back on our very first episode. Because I told you guys, part of my identity crisis came with not being able to fully support myself in the city that we lived in.
Yeah.
Where like I couldn't afford this life by myself, which was hard for me.
Mhm.
And as I became more immersed in newborn life and I was working less, I became less able to do that. And I used to thank him every time he would pay for groceries or something
Yeah.
for the family. But eventually we did create a joint account, but we still have to this day, we have our own checking accounts. And
Wait,
so-
do you know how
what
much
do
money
you-
he has, and does he know how much money
Yeah,
you
we're
have?
What do you
completely
use those
transparent
for?
about money.
Like, what are the separate accounts for?
Well, mine is primarily for my S corp, and
Right.
so I run my business,
Yeah,
and I
that's
get paid.
also
into,
I was asking.
I get
curious.
paid into my business,
Mhm.
and my expenses that are business expenses go in and out of that, and I can pay myself
Yeah.
out of my business. So I
Yeah.
also have my
Yeah.
own personal checking account,
Mhm.
and then I have my own brokerage account and IRAs and savings and all
But
that
in
stuff.
terms of your checking, was like the methodology because of your S corp, so that you could keep everything under one, like for you, like for a business?
Oh no,
purposes?
I want to have my own stuff.
So what?
Not
Let me
because
ask you this question, because wait, sorry to interrupt you. I
Yeah,
didn't mean
it's
to interrupt
okay.
you. What happens? Because you know how entertainment is, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you have years where it's really, really lean,
Mhm.
and Ty's making a ton of money, and you're joint checking. You've got money to cover bills or whatever. There's no money in Corey's personal account. What happens then? Like, what would happen then? I'm not saying it's happened. I'm saying like, what
Well,
would happen?
I mean, if I felt super broke,
Yeah,
I would be like, give me some money.
yeah. But I
It
guess
wouldn't be
that's
a
why
big
I wonder
deal.
why keeping it separate is a thing. I've always wondered this for people.
For me personally, there's a few reasons.
Yeah.
One of them is just because I don't know if autonomy is the right word, but I like to have my own stuff. I
Yeah.
like to have my own account that I control. And that way, if I do want to do something for Ty, it's not because I'm like, I have like a nest, like anything
Yeah.
that he doesn't know about.
Right.
We know each other's passwords to everything. I mean, there's nothing hidden.
Yeah.
And he is private about money, and so am I. Probably not to the degree he is, but we're totally open with each other. Sometimes it's funny because if we have like money in certain stocks or whatever, and I don't have access to those accounts, and I'm like, I don't know how much money we have, So sometimes we have to be like, how much money do we have? Wait, how much money do we have?
Mhm.
Because sometimes I'm only looking at our joint account that all of a sudden all the bills come out of,
Yep.
and then I feel like, oh my God, we're broke. And it was like, no, it's okay
You gotta
because we have
move
this
stuff.
here.
Yeah.
But we both like being able to treat each other to things, and it feel like we really are doing that, even though it's coming out of like we both say, and he was very big on this when I was feeling like, oh, I'm not contributing enough. He's like, whatever we make, we put it together, split it down the middle. That's how much we each make. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. And so I think there's different ways of people going about combining their finances. I think we don't do this, but one method I've heard about is people doing it percentage based, so that you're putting a percentage of what
I've
you
heard
make
people do
into
that.
the joint account. So that's fair. But yeah, I have my corporate stuff, my personal stuff. We have our joint account that all of our bills come out of. Our house, our utilities, our groceries, our Amazon subscribe and save, which is a lot. All that stuff comes out of our joint account, our kids' school, all of that stuff. And then like Ty's paycheck goes in there, but he keeps a percentage of it goes into his personal
Does
account.
he like know how much you make and you know how much he makes?
Yeah.
So, like,
oh yeah.
So then what's the end goal for the personal? I'm so fascinated by this because I grew up not understanding it and I really want to get it. So if at the end of the day, he's just going to give you money you need, or at the end of the day, if something happens, all of it gets merged anyway. The point of the personal account is just more of like a mental thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I like having, I have always been very organized and like business minded. And it would be weird to me to all of a sudden go like, let me just muddle everything up. I like that it's like, okay, we have an idea of how much is going into that account every other week.
Yep.
And then we know how much is going out. And now we don't budget down. We really don't budget, and we could. We just more keep an eye on things.
That's kind of how we are.
And
we should budget.
yeah.
We don't.
But we have and then for me, when I have years that I'm making more, because to this day I could make, like, it could be a huge disparity in what I'm making. And so there are certain things I pay for. I like being able to be like, if I want to go get my hair done or get my nails done or go shopping or whatever, like, I want to be able to do that. That's not that Ty wouldn't go like, just go spend what you want or need.
Yeah.
But I like being able to go, this is something that I don't even need to check in on.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just going to
That's funny
do
because
it.
I've never checked in on Adrian ever for any of that stuff anyway. So that's why
I was going to ask that
never.
because we have it's a very soft rule, but we
Yeah.
basically have a $500
Our
rule.
$500, that's ours.
It's like, if you're going to
spend-
buy something over $500, check in on it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, but it's
Yeah.
very loose.
Yeah, because there's often times where it's something even like 300 or that I'll just tell him because it hasn't made a lot of sense recently, but especially since I've not been working full time.
Yeah.
But we're the same way. That I do like.
Does it
that
make
it's meant
sense to you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still don't understand it because for me, I'm like I get why you do it.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, we are joining our lives. We're joining our families are all one. So I don't have money. He doesn't have money. It is all family money. It's like if the kids need braces or glasses. So that's why we don't keep it separate. But we do have separate accounts for like business. Dad or Life has its own account. We have like, 2 different personal accounts, but all the money goes into one account.
Like Ty is a VP of my company and has a corporate card.
Yeah.
And so it's not like there's anything, I mean, we definitely feel like you do. We are like, it's all ours. It's all ultimately coming from the same place.
Yeah.
It's a psychological thing of like, I bought you this, or like, I'm buying dinner tonight, or the corporation is covering this
John
meal or
likes
whatever.
that. There's been a few times where like, because John is on my Kaela LLC that rolls off the tongue. But there's been a few times where I've like picked up the check with the KLA card and he's like, oh, my wife is buying me dinner. And I'm like, it's so funny to me.
That's
even though
sweet,
it's like
though.
all the
Do you
the
and
same.
John have joint, or is everything together with you guys?
So we have, it's like all in the same bank and then we have different checking accounts, but like everything. So he has a personal that pays all of our bills and we just consider that a personal account. And then we have a joint account, which started as our wedding fund account that is now just, well,
yeah,
like,
you put
now
you
it's
were
family
putting money in it.
expenses.
yeah. And then I got rid of my other bank account and then my KLA account is just like another. So we have like 4 accounts that if you like log into our Bank of America, you can see each like sub account.
Yeah.
So it's all there, and we know which is which.
So his paycheck goes into one account.
His paycheck goes into one account, but it all goes into like our savings. I don't know.
Yeah.
So his paycheck goes into his account and then my paycheck goes into his account.
so your paychecks both go into your family account is what you're saying.
Well, his account pays all the bills.
Yeah.
And like auto drafted.
Right,
And so I like
you contribute to that too.
I
Yeah,
contribute
so
to
they
that
both-
too.
both-
And then I
everything goes in there.
contribute, I do like all of our savings.
Mhm.
And I'm just kind of responsible for like the savings just because his check goes to bills.
Paying
That's
the
kind of
majority
like
of
we
bills.
are too.
Yeah.
And
And
if
my
I have
check-
a year when I'm making more, I pay for more.
Mhm.
But so I don't know why this makes me laugh so much. But John kind of raised me financially because I just turned 21 when I met him.
Yeah.
And I had 5 roommates, or there was 5 of us in the house. I had 4 roommates. And I was a waitress at TGI Fridays. I was coaching cheerleading and privately coaching gymnastics. I was coaching voice lessons. I just got off a failed record deal, and so I was trying to do the artist thing at the time, and trying to get another deal.
I'm not a girl,
not yet a woman. And so I was also, and he didn't know this, I was a Britney Spears impersonator. And so I would go to Vegas and San Diego and LA and do these like birthday party shows. I knew all the dances, and I had the
So
hair.
adorable. I would have loved to have seen that live.
Me too.
Maybe we should.
Do you have video?
I have nothing.
Oh my gosh.
I don't have a single picture. I don't have anything.
Except your impersonation that you still
Except
are nailing.
I used to take pole dancing classes, and I was really, really into it. I used to beg John for a pole because that's what helped me get those abs to like do those shows. And like a lot of her moves are kind of stripperish moves.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean,
That's why she has the abs.
I was not a stripper, but I just need to clarify that. But
You just liked poles. There's
I love pole dancing. I love pole dancing.
Yeah.
So I moved in with him. I had roommates, and then one of my roommates got married. And literally a week before her wedding, she was like, yeah, we'll all still live here. And then a week before her wedding, she's like, by the way, everyone needs kicked out. And it was her dad's house that like we were all living in.
Oh my gosh.
And so
she just kicked you out without notice?
I had like a week notice. It was kind of a janky situation. But they were all great. It was just young, all cheerleaders living in a house.
Only imagine.
It was crazy. And so I had like a week to find a house, and one of my friends was moving back home for the summer. She had campus housing, and she had a whole house, and she was like, hey, all of our roommates are moving back. We still owe rent for the summer. Do you just want to take over our rent? And I had this like tiniest house in the world, but to myself for like 5 months. And so I was like, yeah, let's do it. Well, like the first week I was there, the doorknob, like someone broke in and like took the doorknob off. And John and I had been dating for about 8-9 months at the time. He's like, you are not staying here.
Yeah.
Like move in with me.
Yeah.
And he had 2 girl roommates at the time who do not speak to us at all anymore. They were like, I don't know, weird situation. But so I moved in with him, and I was so uncomfortable at the time with it because I never thought I would live with a guy before marriage. I was just so uncomfortable with it. But I loved it, and it made sense for us at the time. But I didn't owe rent. He didn't like have me pay rent. And so I had never, ever, ever had spending cash because I was still working. And because all I did was work, I made pretty good money for 21. Yeah, for being young. And I remember the first time I went to Nordstrom and I spent like $650. Which I don't even do that now.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I don't either.
I never go. That's still, and I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, should I tell him? And I had never done that. At the time, I'm still wearing clothes from high school. I had never just bought myself clothes. Yeah. But I was making really good money. And I thought, oh my gosh, this feels so good. And so I think I developed a little bit of a shopping problem because all of a sudden I didn't owe rent. I didn't have any bills. And
that's brutal.
I didn't have any bills. And then I started driving a family car of his. And I was like,
this is amazing.
What is happening? And it was just how the situation worked out. And I got so much flack from everyone, like, oh, she's dating this like rich older guy. And I'm like, and it's so funny. I was like, he was 28 and I'm like, he's not even rich, guys. He just has like a job. He just has a real person job. Because I was hanging out with musicians and waiters and waitresses all the time.
Right.
And so
back to entertainment careers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was in hospitality and entertainment and coaching. And so to everyone else, because he had like a real job in construction, he like had all
was like he was balling.
He was balling.
That's crazy.
But
so then you ended up. At what point did you start getting involved in that? Because you were saying he kind of like helped you learn about it.
He helped me learn about it, but I still don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so
it's fine. It's working out.
Here's the thing.
You just run a bunch of companies.
Here's the thing. Okay, this is gonna sound so stupid. I shouldn't even say this.
Hold on. Time out.
I shouldn't say this.
Do you know how many months years have we been asking Kaela for a finance meeting for My Name is Mom? She's what account? What numbers? What? Just kidding.
True.
That's
So I kind of sometimes have these Julia Roberts moments where I'm like, I have this money and need someone to help me. And I'm walking into a store. Just because it's not that I can't manage it, because I'm not an overspender.
You're better at making it than managing
I
it.
am better at making it than
All
managing
right.
it.
That's fair.
That's good.
And
It's not a bad problem.
I, like when you were like, we know each other's passwords. If something happened to my husband, we would go in foreclosure because I don't know how to pay our mortgage.
Any of your mortgages, because there's
Any
multiple.
of our mortgages. I shouldn't say that online. I would have to find someone and be like, here's money in our account. I'll just keep putting money into it. Can you just make sure everything
You would
gets
need a
paid?
business manager.
I would.
It's funny because see, I pretty much handle like Ty is completely capable.
I've
of doing
never
that
paid a
stuff.
bill in my life.
Are you
What?
serious?
I
You never
should've
like
said that.
set
Can
up
we-
an auto pay?
Can we edit that out?
Totally.
Nope.
Here's
That's
what I
the
think is
lead.
actually amazing is that
I'm serious. I am 30.
I've never paid a bill in my
How did they get
life.
us 20-something minutes in or however
How
long
you
ago?
can get to your 30s and never pay a bill?
Okay, so you guys were saying something, and I almost started giggling because I'm like, I'm 35 years old, and I've never paid a bill in my life.
Okay, hold on. I feel like I
But
need
for
to
your
interject.
companies.
Yeah, do you pay your company bills?
No, John does.
Okay.
That's true. I did get some Etsy notification that we owed 96 cents and we didn't pay it, so it was getting shut down, and I forwarded it to Kaela.
Oh, you did. I need to log on. And
Oh my
forgot.
gosh. Okay, I'm gonna spin this a little bit because your stories are both.
I'm like, this is so funny to me.
I'm floored. Okay,
I am
because
too.
so here's the thing: when Adrian and I first got together, I was easily making 3 times the salary he was. So I was the primary breadwinner before we had kids, right?
Wait, hold on. I need to renege that because I did have to pay off like student loans and medical bills like when we were first together. So,
I don't think that counts.
but I'm saying like as adult bill, like I paid off a Victoria's Secret credit card one time.
Okay, all right.
So you've paid a bill. A bill.
A bill.
Your
Singular.
cherry's been popped.
Yeah.
Bill
Yeah.
V card.
But I'm just like, here's my money. Do put it where it needs to go.
So for us, I always made a little bit more because I was just a little bit further ahead in my career. And then he became a stay-at-home dad, right?
Yeah.
So then I was making all the money and he started Dad or Alive. And, to be fair, it's different in entertainment when you're getting, 30, 40, 1099s a year,
Yeah.
from various companies and you have a salary. So like my salary was what everything was built on, right? And I have to give him a ton of credit. I mean, he built Dad or Alive into a $2 million brand, sitting at home and working and writing. And clearly it took him a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but he did it. And it's been amazing for our family. But my salary, what was always paying for everything. And so when I was working full time, he was doing all the bills. Like the money was coming in, he was
Yeah.
paying everything. Now that he's working full time and I'm working like a quarter time, I do all the bills. So he makes the bulk of the money now and I'm paying the bills. So it's been this like interesting role reversal, and how we do it has also been kind of fascinating.
That makes me
Like,
nauseous. If there was ever a role reversal,
Yeah.
I would be like, not my gift.
There
I'm the talent. Not
There
my
might
gift.
have to be. You have your Mr. Mike, so he would be the person you'd be like, help
Mike.
me.
Yeah,
Help me.
like I love Mike Warren. He
Yeah.
has helped me.
I would help you.
You would help
Yeah.
me. I'm just saying, like, John can't die.
Message to John. Please don't die.
So if like something ever happens to him, it wasn't me because I need him.
Meanwhile, Jen said she has a whole. Didn't you say you have notes in your phone of like how?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
When
I had
started
a note
Olive and
called
Arc-
My Funeral.
When I started Olive and Arc, I looked at Leslie, my business
I am.
partner, and I said, I will make sure that we always have money, but I need you to handle the finances.
Yeah.
And I don't
Like,
think
make
I-
sure everyone gets
Enlightening.
paid.
I don't know how I
Yeah.
never knew this about
I don't
you.
know either.
Well, it's not that
It makes perfect
It makes
sense.
so much. It explains
But
so
it
much.
really
I have-
does.
but here's the thing. I have budgets for everything. So I know what was spent. I know who spent it. I know all of that. But just logging on and paying a bill,
Okay, wait. Let's take that in a different direction. What's your budget for food monthly as a family?
well, it just differentiates per month because since I've had my ankle surgery, we've been doing HelloFresh because it's hard for me to go to the grocery store and shop. And so it's been, what is that, like $80 a week is like our
That's
food
all
budget.
you're spending on food?
Yeah, we just eat HelloFresh. Okay, so maybe an extra like 50 to 60 bucks for like produce and like protein powder.
Okay.
But it's not. You have to think it's John and I and Loxley. We probably spend more in dog food a month than we do in like
that could be true.
food.
We easily spend over $400 a week on groceries and household like trash bags and stuff like that. Easily $400 a week.
I am really big on waste, like with paper towels. Like I yell at someone if they use too much toilet paper. I
get that too, but I there's almost like a baseline. I don't know how people go without, like,
I will say on average we go anywhere between like $400 and like $650 for groceries a month.
That's pretty low.
That's like the most low I've ever heard anybody even remotely close to us say. So I'm mad impressed.
But I meal prep.
Because a Costco bill alone is like.
And you also, I was going to say, you make something out of everything.
I meal prep, so I do Poor Man's Kitchen quite a bit.
We do the pantry challenge at least once a week. Yeah. That's what they're doing tonight, as a matter of fact. That's interesting, though.
But the funny thing is that I was going to suggest we talk about how we approach money with our kids, but I think that's a whole other episode.
I think it is, too.
And it's really just about how we approach our little sister, Kaela.
Yeah.
When it comes to...
This is very fascinating.
We'll just start helping her know how to pay her bills.
I'm baffled by like, has not really ever paid a bill. And like, do you know how to pay your water bill?
No.
Okay.
So, I probably could. I know how to build 7-figure companies.
I know. That's why I'm so baffled.
That's why I'm baffled too, because
I should say that it's not that I can't pay a bill. It's that I don't have any of our passwords, and John's just always done it.
Okay.
It's
so
not
you've
that I
always
don't
been
know
enabled,
how.
and you've never had to do it. Is that
okay. It's not. Yeah, it's not
enabled
that,
in a bad way.
I'll tell you this: it's a pain in the butt. So if you can get John to keep doing that's great.
Yeah.
When I had like my wedding whole event center and like rental company, I take that back because I had to do the LLCs, the insurance. I had to like make sure that staff was paid, and so. I did do that, but I just
in terms of your home bills.
I'm talking about just personal.
Okay, so
I know how to run a business.
That's shock number one. Shock number two, I'm sorry. I can't walk into Costco without spending $450, so I have no idea how you do that for a month.
We go to Costco maybe once a month, but I don't consider Costco and groceries like the same because when we go to Costco, we might buy a vacuum for a rental property. We might buy, like a splash pad or Costco is like miscellaneous spending.
Okay, I see what you mean.
And that's probably like a once every like month and a half trip that we do, and that's just more necessities like light bulbs and batteries and
that's smart.
I couldn't tell you how much we spend on groceries per month.
And that's me guessing.
But I know that I go to the store and I can't believe how much I've spent, and I can't believe how often I have to go.
And eat out on top of it.
Well, see, we almost never eat out.
I know how much I spend at Olive and Art.
Barely ever.
Oh, see, we do. That's our
we
only
don't
social,
eat out.
like, is
we
going
don't
out.
ever
We eat out maybe once a week.
That's once or twice a week.
It's like if we're eating, maybe we eat out twice a week and it'll be once out and once ordering it.
Sometimes we also take the kids, like we'll be like, hey, we're going to pick up donuts. Or
we do once a week Chick-fil-A for
we
the
do
kids.
that stuff too. So it all comes out of that line.
We might go out to eat. John and I have not been out to eat, just us out to eat since my birthday.
Yeah.
Just
the two of you.
Just the two of us.
Yeah.
We went out with the Ryle family, 2 months ago? Before ankle surgery.
Yeah.
4 months, 5 months ago.
Yeah.
I would be really curious to know, especially what you were saying though, with do you only have joint? And you feel so passionately about it. And the funny thing is that I feel equally passionately about I want my own account.
Yeah.
I do a lot of cash though.
Really?
It helps you it helps you budget it if you're looking at what you're
any get John never,
you mean like debiting instead of
No.
you mean actual cash.
I shouldn't say that.
Kayla.
I shouldn't say.
Don't tell people where your money is kept.
Okay, we're gonna edit that out.
It's in the pantry in the
in the
Ziploc
flour
baggie box.
I keep an envelope of cash though.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's smart. Well, cash might have no value soon, so that's a whole other
I know,
episode.
so I gotta spend it.
Right. Buy silver and gold and like put it under your mattress or something. Stuff it under there.
Yeah. John, don't die.
Also, when I first suggested this topic, Kaela goes, "What are we going to talk about? Money." And I feel like we could talk about this for like another hour.
Do you know? I will say this is my last comment about money. is because I'm very open about talking about money because I grew up with none and I've been self-made with everything I've done. And so I don't feel like money is mine. I think it's just a tool, like a transactional tool
I love that.
to get you to the next step.
Yeah.
And so if sometimes like whatever is in my personal account needs to help somebody else get to the next step, that's where it needs to go. I think that the more we look at money as a universal thing that we all have to get by with it, I don't have a problem with talking about money. But I will say that I've always heard this phrase, and I find it to be true. People that talk about money a lot in their own personal stances typically don't have as much as they talk about.
Well, I think that's true in most cases for sure.
Yeah.
It's like Titanic when they talk about like the new money families
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
new money
family versus old money families.
Maybe that's, like that always, and so I always keep that in my mind.
Although I'm trying to think where
money
I heard this.
means different things to different people though.
I talk
because
to my close friends about money, but I don't talk to like
No.
public
You
about
know,
it.
somebody recently it hit me when people sometimes talk about making six figures. There are certain areas of the country
Which is now
where
the new seven figures.
No,
the way the economy is.
when you talk about six figures, people think that means $100,000. That's it.
Right.
It goes up to $1 million.
Right,
So there are people that make six figures that make $800,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That's
so
true.
it is to me weird when we're like, oh, there's all these like 5-figure salaries, and then you get 6-figure salaries. And 6-figure $100,000 for a family of 4 or a family of 6 is vastly different than $800,000 or $900,000 for a family of 4 or a family of 6.
True.
It's a wide
there's someone
open
here, guys.
field.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up because our guest is here.
Wrap it up.
The Hi, My Name is Mom studio is brought to you by the Yard Sale Store. Check them out at yardsalestore.com and on socials at Yard Sale USA.